spots, they get the bye straight through in the playoffs to the semi-finals. It gives them a big advantage, so everybody wants to be in that spot. There's a lot of people saying, oh, the league doesn't really matter. And even the likes of EG, I remember we were talking right at the start, it's like, as long as we're in the top 6, it's okay. But getting in that top 6 is not easy right now.
No, and that's the real problem. We're obviously back in Champions League, as you've surely noticed, so we'll get back into those in a sec. But that's the thing. I mean, if MWM win today and you know, win at least one or both of their games in the next week of games, and it comes to that Super Weekend, literally everything is on the line in one weekend of play, which is, for us as League of Legends fans, just absolutely fantastic, because you've got no idea then who's going to go through and who's not. So we're at the stage that we were at last time then. 4 picks already in for Gambit. Alternate on their last round of picks. They were with Malphite earlier on. We'll see if they actually stick to this one.
Fizz has actually been a popular pick lately. Started to come in Europe and actually Korea. I think there was one Fizz pick, just only the one though, not so far. But we'll see what Alternate do go with. They've had all this time to make your mind up, and now they go straight back into trolling. Honestly, it just annoys me.
Well, it could be good though, Demon. We might get Malphite to cast in the top lane.
They had Vi yesterday. Oh, and Malphite's going to get locked in, so they are going to be the champion. So we're seeing slightly similar what we've seen in Alternate, but that's going to be Kerp on Malphite, we assume, and Forellenlord on Lissandra.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to go that way around. I mean, they may end up switching lanes themselves, but I think in terms of who's going to be holding what champion, that's how it'll be for this one. So let's see what Gambit finish off then. We've got Karma for the jungle, Renekton for the top lane. It's going to be a mid laner here to be going up against that Lissandra, and interested to see what Alex's call here is for this one. Obviously, there's no Zed in there, a champion which he really likes to play. But Kassadin, of course, was open. We see him time and time again as this last pick, and it looks like Alex is going to go that route again. Yeah, he's actually done very well with Kassadin in the past, so yeah, it's a pretty interesting pick, though. The fact that he's up against Lissandra this time, I'm trying to think whether he's done it against Lissandra. He's normally against the Twisted Fate, countering it pretty well. It is a very mobile champion. It does mean, of course, as we've seen with Froggen yesterday, Alex on Kassadin will be just zipping around the map and pretty much doing most of the free farm. Hasn't gone for the teleport that we saw Froggen using. In fact, no members so far, as I see one actually just getting selected, have gone for it. We'll see whether that stays that way, and we'll see whether anything changes up, of course, as was the case with Fnatic Gambit. Even a minute into the low game, we were just like, wait a minute. Didn't even notice that Soaz was playing Blitzcrank till about a minute into the game, I think, yesterday. But yeah, Kerp looking like he's going to be running. There is the fabled ball. What happens if that ball rolls out at some point and he loses it?
Can it roll out? I don't know if it can.
See, I actually used to use a trackball myself. I used to use a trackball long, like 20 years ago, I think. Yeah, I think that's the point, right? The technology kind of grew with the times. Like, we all used to listen to tape and mini disc and stuff like that, which didn't mean that it's not quite the best anymore, but whatever works for you. And Kerp said that in one of the interviews. I think it was a video we had in Tenerife, where he said, you know, if you're used to something, then it's fine, but I have to wonder still. I still have to wonder, you know, how he would be if he went with, you know, a conventional mouse. Certainly, he has got a very muscly thumb. Yeah, he has got a very muscly thumb. So that's good news for Kerp. He's definitely used to that one, and he's been playing brilliantly as well for Alternate in this top lane. There's no doubt about that one. Obviously, going to be bringing the Malphite to the table. Looks like he's going to be running that support, so he should be getting involved. I mean, we saw EG's double support tactic yesterday going down there, which, you know, to be fair to them, worked out really nicely. And that's the great thing about Malphite, that the unstoppable force when you teleport in is just a massive spell to have in the team. Yeah, and it's a bit of a change around, because we saw him play a fantastic Kha'Zix as well yesterday, but obviously they feel that the team requires the Malphite, so sure enough, we are about to get underway with that. Jree, of course, rocking out the Blitzcrank. Third Blitzcrank we've seen this week already, so he's been a very popular support pick. But it is Alternate as the blue team, making their way in towards the middle, and Gambit as the red team as we get things underway. Not looking like we're going to see too much shenanigans coming out this time around in the level 1. I'm just seeing to see where this middle lane pairing's going, whether they're going to jump across one. WhiteKnight having to back away from that one. Nope, not going to get the resets on there. Jree, of course, trying to possibly throw out the hook, but they have no vision of Darien there, so it's going to be blind. Yeah, for me, with a Blitzcrank, you're going to be looking to steal a buff. It's so easy to take them out of the camp themselves. And if you've got any kind of vision down, if you've got any idea where the jungle's starting, then you can generally, tie yourself up with a buff early on. But it looks like Gambit are actually going to try and call Alternate out on this one, and they are within grab range right now. Alternate have no vision of it, though. But a ward over the top here could change that one very, very quickly. We'll see how fast Jree is. He's having a dance at the minute just to get warmed up for maybe a bit of pulling going on later. And, well, up until now, Alternate stands still.
But they have a good ward in place, and they're pinging it. And I'm pretty sure Alternate realise it's there, but they will be going across in a moment. They've got 20 seconds for that timer to count down, and almost certainly putting all their eggs in this blue basket to see where they can get it. Of course, we saw Diamond already putting some shots into that bush, expecting it to come, despite the fact they had vision there from the start. There they go. Pink ward goes in. Ward has been cleared out. Gambit immediately start to back away from this one. They realise the situation.
Yeah, pretty obvious that this was going to happen for me, and surprisingly enough, blue buff pulled over the wall there by Jree, and this is going to be the start for Alternate. You can see that Gambit on the top side have already started the counter invade for this one. I'm going to be going for that blue buff. Diamond is headed over there as well, so the way it looks at this point is a trade on those blue buffs. However, Kerp and maybe even Forellenlord are going to come over to have a go at this one, so might not be over just yet. There's the smite. Diamond going to take that one back, so in the end, buffs tied up at 1 apiece.
So this time around, no first blood on Diamond, and he does manage to get that first buff. So this is really where it started going wrong already for them against Fnatic. So we'll keep our eye on Diamond, see how well this Karma works out. It is, to my knowledge, the first Karma, certainly in the European LCS, but maybe even in China and Korea as well. Of course, those scenes, and maybe even the Brazil and Turkey tournaments that have been happening for the international events. If you haven't caught them, they will be, of course, taking part in Gamescom in the coming month. We are almost there. It's getting scarily close towards those playoffs right now, and the World Finals will follow. But the top lane, it's going to be Kerp in a 2v1 against Genja and Voidle. And Voidle, we'll see how Edward-esque he plays today.
Oh, Araneae are actually charging up here to going on towards Alex. There's a claw coming in. Alex flashing away, but the damage is high. And there is first blood coming down for Alternate. And it was just a standard gank. There was nothing really special about that one. Araneae coming in from the side. Got that high mobility as Darien takes damage in the bottom as well. He's safe for now. But as I said, just a standard get in there and get the gank done. It was really well done by Alternate, though.
And you said it right there, the high mobility, the scariness that Forellenlord and Araneae can close that gap so quickly. They both have great gap closers, the claw of doom, as I believe it is that you call it, coming out and putting the pressure down. Darien also got to be careful of these grabs that Jree's doing. I can only assume that's what happened with the hit points being that low already, and that's where the pressure could be there. If Jree just steps back, he could land the grab at any given time on Darien. He's got that slice and dice available. There's going to be the grab, has to use it to just dodge it.
Oh, Diamond actually up in the top lane there just to see if they could get that gank off. Fell pretty low, and he's not going to want to lose double buffs at this stage of the game. You've got to be careful for that one not to be coming down. But it looks like they are going to be able to force both Malphite and Vi a little bit further away from this one and put some early pressure down onto that turret.
See whether they do go for a quick turret, whether it's simply just harassing as much as they can. It's keeping Araneae certainly busy as well, which they can apply the time in the other lanes. Piercing arrow landing very nicely across Kerp and Araneae, forcing them both to back away from that one. And again, now we're seeing the poke coming out from Sona, causing problems. They're all forced to back away. And Gambit may keep pushing for this.
Yeah, and the great thing is as well with Diamond on this Karma, the fact is, even if you stand under the turret, the combination of, the inner flare and mantra to make the Soulfire come up gives that AoE underneath the turret, the extra damage from it as well. So you've got to be really careful about how long you actually stand around waiting and trying to defend that turret. You see there, Kerp straight back into lane, but can't really do much to stop this turret being hammered away at.
Well, they're putting a lot of time into it. You can see all of Diamond's jungle is up right now, apart from the 2 buffs. Actually saying that the blue buff is not up, but they didn't reset it. That's an interesting one. So they didn't take down the small column, so that's going to be respawning at some point later on. But there's a lot of time invested in here because you have the double buff, of course, and really want to get this tower down, it seems, Gambit.
Yeah, really putting a lot into that one. Araneae himself having to stay up in this top lane, and see there, the Sona, second time that we've seen Voidle play, and second time that he's running Sona as well. We talked about this yesterday, that Gambit really love Sona. They really like having that Sona in the team. And if Voidle really is anything like Edward, as he claimed in that video, then he won't mind playing Sona for the good of his team either. And so far, doing a really good job here of completely zoning Kerp out of that creep range and trying to keep him as low as they possibly can, forcing those minions onto the turret. And, well, as you can see, there's not much left of the turret itself, but this bottom lane, not exactly much left there as well, as Darien comes out. Jree actually going to be stunned up here, and now Diamond coming in. He's going to have to flash out away from the tether, and we'll see if they can actually chase in for this one. Vi actually nowhere near to stop that one from happening, but in the end, Gambit not going too deep.
A lot of pressure on there, and he did have the mana shield, his passive available, which is why I don't think Diamond went flashing in for that one, but certainly very dangerous play from Araneae around this backside, though. Diamond is there, and they're trying to camp out, and Diamond just realised, oh no, damn it, I forgot to clear out these things, so we're not going to have blue buff for a long time, and now Araneae goes aggressive on, and Diamond immediately backing away from them. That was the top turret just going down, so first turret of the game has gone. It was Gambit that put so much time into getting it.
And look at that as well, Araneae, sneaky Spaniard, actually left that last small lizard up in the camp. He's still not down, so he's not going to be spawning for them anytime soon here. Alternate with 4 men down on the bottom side of the river. This is their dragon. Nothing going to be able to stop them with that one. I think Darien has actually just realized that camp wasn't cleared out, so that's going to be finished. But Alternate get the dragon from it now. They're approaching a 1,000 gold lead.
Yeah, that's a big turnaround, and at the moment Araneae are doing a good number over on Diamond, and to be fair, Diamond did pay a lot of credit to Araneae back in Moscow as well, if you recall, in his interviews. So he said he called him the Spanish Lee Sin, the Spanish, yeah, it was the Spanish Lee Sin.
Spanish insect.
Spanish insect, that was the one. Effectively the same thing. Although insects in the top lane these days are not quite the same. But blue buff is going to be invaded. Alternate want to come around for this one. Diamond does have his smite available should they require it, and I think he may well use it. We did see Alex it's slowly coming across, but it's not going to happen. Used the smite again and managed to take it away, which kind of doesn't surprise me. Karma with blue buff is kind of handy in the jungle.
Yeah, very nice indeed. And the thing is, that blue buff on the Gambit side is not coming up for a little while still. Obviously, they did finish it off themselves, so they know exactly when that's going to come in. They're going to want to control that here and stop Alternate, you know, switching that back around them and really leveling things up when it comes to that blue buff control. Alex actually pushing a big wave out, and funnily enough, despite his death, he's really close in there with minions and actually has got a level advantage over Forellenlord as well.
Yeah, but Darien, he's doing a good job in this bottom lane. He's kept hold of the turret, which has been harassed for a very long time by Alternate. He's also managed to get that level advantage now. You can see he's just hit level 7, used his ultimate to clear out that wave. Actually, with the rest of Gambit coming round, where is he going to go here? They're maybe going to try and sneak around. They caught a glimpse of WhiteKnight and Jree in the bush, and now Darien is coming around, doesn't have his ultimate available, so kind of unwise to stick around. Not really sure what he's playing at. He's just causing pressure for Alternate. He's going to have to get him towards that top lane, but as I said, he's managed to build himself a level advantage over Kerp because Kerp was zoned out in that top lane. In terms of CS, he's got a big advantage over him as well, so he wants to get it back in towards that top lane as quick as possible, but it seems Gambit actually have different ideas. They maybe want to shove this turret down as quick as possible.
Yeah, it looks to me as like they want that as well. 3 men there. We're actually going to see the pull coming out. Genja in the turret range actually has a flash. Here comes Diamond as well from the side. Jree took a lot of damage there, and Gambit might have done enough with that to force them out. We can see Forellenlord here headed down through the Alternate side of the jungle, and they may try and turn this one around. Voidle not level 6 yet, so there's no crescendo available for him, but in the end, they'll just back away from it.
Yeah, trying to force the pressure down. Alex Itch actually didn't leave lane, had no intention of, and that maybe bought him a little bit of time to try and regroup and get some farm back on Forellenlord because he's being left alone, despite the fact neither have had blue buff so far either. Kerp in this top lane, he's getting a lot of free time as well in this minions. And I mentioned how much of an advantage that Darien had built up. That's kind of falling away already. Now it looks like Alternate going aggressive.
Yeah, teleport coming in. Kerp actually going right down. Genja is in so much trouble. Finished off there by Kerp, who in the end didn't even bother with that unstoppable force. Had it off cooldown, but decided they didn't need to use it in that scenario. He picks up a kill, which is really going to help him for that top lane. And Alternate might be able to completely switch this one around and get a turret. Well, I mean, it's very low anyway, so Minions will do that on their own. One hit in the end will finish that one off. So nice pushback from Alternate and being able to pick up the kills. And there is the Malphite teleport again. Super deadly when you don't realize those wards are behind you.
Yeah, and that was just off cooldown, and he used it immediately to create that advantage. But, as we were saying with Kerp in that top lane, it's given Darien some free time. They're not going to mind, though. They have got that turret down that's going to make things all even. And in terms of gold, you can see that Alternate have built themselves up that advantage. The fact that they got those 2 kills and the Dragon giving them that advantage in terms of lanes, still pretty even. 65-66 to the AD carries, so pretty close there. The mid lane it's a 10 CS difference, not a massive amount. Alex fell behind a little bit of that, but it doesn't surprise me. Alessandro versus Kassadin, going to expect him to farm out quicker. And we talked about Darien at the start. You know, sometimes he'll absolutely feed at the start, sometimes he'll do great, and it really does dictate how the game completely goes the whole way. And so far, hasn't been in too much trouble.
No, certainly hasn't, but that might change right now. We've got Araneae coming up to this top side. He's actually avoided the ward that Darien put down before. He is going to come in there, pummels him down, but will they be able to finish it for this one off? Darien pops his ultimate. It's going to slice his way out of there, and he will stay safe for that. The ultimate obviously used, as we see Forellenlord putting down the claw. I mean, as an AD carry, you just see that claw coming, you're like, nope, I am getting away from that one. Do not want to play, and decides to back away. But Alternate have, again, 3 men there, and they've got that great thing in the Blitzcrank hook as well, that they can pull someone out from underneath those towers that they're trying to protect.
And they're buying themselves some time, but look at this. Look at this. Genja. He's built differently again at last, finally.
Oh, my days.
He's not gone for the tier on Varus. He has gone straight for the BF sword, so finally he's not going to be putting on that, despite the fact he likes to play them all as caster champions, basically. But the pressure on this mid turret is pretty big here from Alternate. They may well take it down. We do see Voidle going in, still hasn't got Crescendo available. The hook just flashing past the backside of Diamond's cape and not managing to land. It does mean they're going to back away, and it's all buying time for Alex in this bottom lane. He needs to get that farm rolling.
And he's doing exactly that. I mean, Alternate have 3 or 4 guys around that area, so they're going to be naturally sharing that farm to get rid of it, as we are going to see Araneae going in there on towards Diamond, but you see the damage. Tether comes down, piercing arrow comes in away. Araneae has to flash from that one, and Gambit doing a really great job of turning that one around. There's a hook from Jree just skimming by Diamond. They will stay safe and forcing Araneae out, almost taking him down.
Yeah, Darien was so close to getting that ignite down. He tried to get the slice and dice across, but Araneae flashed the second he got there. We do see, of course, Alex sneaking around that backside. He thought he could maybe pick up a kill. Spotted in the race. Looks like Gambit are going to try and collapse onto this turret. He's going to rift walk across the moment he sees any opportunity. Look at the poke difference there. Piercing arrow, followed by the it's not the solar flare, it's the inner flame. That's the one coming out from Diamond. The Q effectively managing to land, doing that damage. It's a bursty combo that did half the hit points to Forellenlord. That's a jungler and the AD carry doing half the hit points to your AP mid. That's dangerous.
Yeah, very dangerous, and they need to be careful. There's Diamond going to get pulled into this one. He did actually flash, but he flashed completely weirdly there. Went back towards the lane, and that will be a free kill almost coming out. Props to Jree. We've seen him miss 2 or 3 of the last hooks that he's thrown out there, but we say it often enough. It only takes one to turn things around.
Absolutely. Fantastic hook there. Hadn't really landed anything in the lane phase either, so I wasn't exactly sure how to rate Jree's Blitzcrank, but that was fantastic. Look at Alex Hitch, though. He's waiting in the wings to put some damage down instead. Just backs away. It will be Alternate taking the mid turret. That's going to be the second one of the game.
Really nicely done by them. Gambit, of course, have one of their own in that top lane. Oh, we see now, Alternate headed down. That's because the Dragon is up. Gambit, didn't see it go down, so they're going to be working a little bit blindly off spawn times here, and they're coming down one by one. We see Darien just outside of it there, not going to be able to stop that one being picked up, and Alternate looking like they're going to make a swift back away from that one, and that will be the second one of the game, and it's 3,500 gold already. That is building up very quickly here for Alternate.
Yeah, going to be interested to see how it goes between these two teams. Of course, Alex is going to be looking at assassinating. Again, just going to be staying at the back. He generally has great positioning in the team fight, so he's got the Crescendo to defend him, and Diamond's also going to have good defensive capabilities to keep Genja safe. And Darien, he's going to be the man diving in there. And how that's going to work, because Kerp's going to be diving one way, Darien's going to be diving the other. I don't really know who's going to win, because Alternate have a heavy dive comp. Forellenlord, Araneae, Kerp, they could all pile in. They could get a hook. Someone, whoever gets caught out, will die instantly from Alternate. The question is how they follow it up after that.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. And Kerp's unstoppable forces, as we always see from Malphite, they've got to be right on the mark here for this one, which I don't expect anything less from Kerp, to be honest. The way that he's played so far here in this summer split, as Forellenlord actually catching out Voidle here. That is complete mispositioning, uses Crescendo, flashes away. He's actually going to survive this one, funnily enough, but lost all his health, used that Crescendo out. Forellenlord did use his ultimate, but he'll probably take that trade.
He may well take that trade. Forellenlord again walking through the tri-bush, pinging on towards him. Gambit again being focused on this time around though. Diamond is there to help him out. Darien does get stunned up, but he's happy to fight this one through. Takes down Forellenlord. Kerp's going to be the next focused target. And just you see the burst potential that was there. That was Alternate trying to set up their gank and backfired horribly.
Yeah, Spirit of the Spectral Wraith being built up there as well for Diamond, and that's something they need to be wary of, that Diamond can do a lot of damage at this point already, and you just saw it there. We saw it earlier on underneath the turret when Forellenlord took probably far too much than he was hoping, and Kerp even being chased down here. Diamond got no leash on him, but that won't actually do too much for him, but it may just force him away and give Darien and Diamond time to have a go at the turret. Yeah, they're going to keep putting the pressure down. Kerp does get the help from Jree, and they are backing away from this one. They have actually no vision, but what is going on in this bottom lane? Alex Ich is a long way down, and actually coming around the side is WhiteKnight. Alex may well go straight towards him. No, happy to continue just farming between them. Now he's going to try and put a little combo. Dodges out of the way of that bookshot nicely. And keeps the pressure on them, but neither of these actually going for a crazy trade against one of these. Every time that null sphere gets thrown out, he just backs away, not going for the full combo, and he's just buying time because here comes Araneae. He's going to come around the side. He's waiting for Forellenlord to join him as well, and Alex may well be baited into this one, Joe. Yeah, he's going to have to rift walk very well from this one, but I'm not sure he's going to manage it as Araneae follows through with the ulti, max range. And that's the danger with the Rift Walk. If you're in range, he's going to follow you straight through. And now Voidle here being chased down. Hook going to grab him. He's going to get knocked up in the air. The ulti comes out. Forellenlord here is coming in from the side as well. And that's another kill for Alternate. Forellenlord picks that one up. But here come the rest of Gambit. Araneae just about... No, he's not going to get away from that one. There comes the ultimate out of Genja as well. But the teleport from Kerp comes around. This is a crazy little fight. Darien out of position as he gets locked up by Forellenlord. Hooked back in from Jree. Where's the knockup? He's actually been chased down. Darien getting a kill from that one, but he will in the end fall down, and that will be a 4-for-1 for Alternate there. And if the rest of his team maybe would have come in supported Darien, I think they could have turned that one around. He put a lot of damage down on towards the rest of Alternate, but they'd already backed away. Obviously the hook didn't help on towards him, but if Genja would have got involved there, that could have turned around. Diamond taken very low already, Unstoppable Force not landing. That's going to go down, so Kerp now could throw out the Chain of Corruption. Hasn't got it available quite yet. It is on cooldown to tell a lie, so there's not going to go out. Alex Ich is continuing to chase. They have a good harass team to chase them down with Alex and Diamond, but instead they let them go. Messy stuff. And I think it was a 3-for-1, by the way, not a 4-for-1. I called that one wrong. With Alex being already respawning by the time that fight actually ended. That's how long it went on. You see Genja there pushing out that mid lane, decided not to go any further with things though. Didn't want to be caught out and giving a kill over to anyone if he could help it. Let's have a look now while we've got, hopefully here, a few seconds to break down some items. And AD carries in particular because WhiteKnight now at 3-0-1. Similar CS, in fact, almost bang even with that of Genja. Bloodthirster, Zeal in there as well. On the other side, just the BF Sword and Vamp Scepter really finished off for Genja. Yeah, but look at the top lanes. This is an actual big advantage for Darien in terms of CS over Kerp, and he's putting the pressure on him, which is why, again, we're seeing Forellenlord coming up here, and it's going to be a 2v1. Another dive onto Darien, pops that ultimate. Has he got enough in his tank this time around? Diamond is coming in, so he just needs to delay them, but Araneae is also heading up. Alex Ich also heading up. Everybody coming in towards his top lane, being drawn in towards his fight, but the moment Alex passed that ward, everybody stepped away from Alternate. Yeah, but Darien actually coming back into this one. Interestingly enough, they're going to keep going head-to-head, but there is Diamond from the side. Look at the damage on Forellenlord. Uses his ultimate on himself, but he's not going to escape this one. Darien picks up that kill, and now the chase is on. Kerp's got no tower. He's got no friendlies there to be helping him out. He has to flash away over to the tri-bush. Diamond trying to just catch him over the side with that inner flame, which didn't quite have the range, and that will be a nice kill back for Gambit. Very patient stuff from Darien, but baited completely alternate there. I mean, that for me should have been fairly obvious that something was going to happen.
And also important there, Alex, it's the first actually been able to get. So we'll see how he makes use of that. He is about to go back and buy a Rod of Ages, I believe, will be coming out from him. He's just stepping back. Boots of Lucidity coming out for Darien, so interesting. Stacking up there. Oh, he hasn't quite got enough for that Rod of Ages yet. He went for the Source Boots instead, so he wants that mobility to get around. So Alex still lacking a little bit in terms of build compared to the likes of Forellenlord, who's already got that Abyssal set to complete. An alternate, well, they're setting up for that Dragon once again, the third one of the game.
And the thing about Alex is behind completely in the farm early on. Naturally, as he scales things up, it's really caught up and has got a healthy lead even right now. Is that Dragon going low? Gambit actually coming in from around the side of this one. Kerp going to get tied up. They're going to go through.
They're going to go for Kerp. Are they going to be enough, though? The Crescendo didn't really do a great deal. There's a good chain of corruption, but the Unstoppable Force comes out and finds his target. Araneae, though, he's getting focused. He gets cut down. Diamond picks that one up. It's a nearly 3-for-1. As soon as they Kerp, how the hell he got away with that one, I don't know. Got away an absolute nothing, and it was a 2-for-1 trade. It looks like Gambit, though, they're going to turn it to the middle and take themselves the mid turret.
They need to. I mean, losing Dragon from that one, yes, they got the kills with it, but they need to push some objectives at this stage as well. They're 3,300 gold behind from this one, and this turret's going to help a whole lot for that one. We can see how many wards were put down by Dragon for that last fight, and that will give a bit of a boost back towards Gambit, who, you know, we can't even call this match, in my opinion, so far in favor of alternate, because now Gambit against that stage where Alex is going to be farming a lot more. We know him as a very prolific farmer, and that gold difference that we have is going to be caught up very quickly.
It is indeed. And gotta give credit to Darien. Look at him now. 4-1-1, 149 CS to 105. Big advantage gained. He's over 1,000 gold ahead of Kerp. And this is Kerp, who's played magnificently throughout the split. He's 1-0-1, so he's not doing a lot wrong himself. But Darien's playing well. We've said it at the start. He either plays great or he's not so good.
Or not so great. Yeah, I mean, he's a player who he gives up pretty easy, I think. When it comes to falling behind in the early game, we saw... I can't remember exactly which match it was where he played the Vladimir and was just off farming while his inhibitors were being attacked from that one. So he's very much a moody player, I think we can safely say there. But seems to be in the mood for it today, and that's only a good thing for Gambit, as Araneae headed up towards that top lane. They've actually spotted him there. The ping came down onto that tri-bush. In fact, the entire team seems to be collapsing in from alternate. They want a tower back. They want a tower back, and it's going to be the top turret. It's the only outer turret left for alternate to get down, which is why they've put so much pressure onto this one. The rest of alternate have reacted, though. Alexic is just backing away down that bottom. He's got himself home guard boots to go with that Rod of Ages. There's the turret. They're just happy with that one. Look at Darien. He's not like, no, you're not going to back off. Tries to buy the time, pulls out the ultimate, tries to bait them in there. Now the rest of Gambit are going to collapse on towards this one, Joe. He's tanky enough as well now with that Spirit Visage in there, as well as he gets locked up by Forellenlord. But this fight is not over just yet. Gambit have got good mobility. The pull comes in onto Diamond. That's going to start the fight of completely. Araneae up in Diamond's face as Darien gets exhausted, taking a lot of damage. Diamond here going very, very low, but he's still alive. Actually manages a kill. Look at WhiteKnight. He's in the wrong place. Forellenlord goes down. Kerp now got 5 men on him. He's not escaping this one. Are they going to push through for an ace? Jree is the last man alive, still healthy, but why push for the ace? You can turn around here and go for that Baron. Well, Jree thought about actually coming in there. He thought about, I need to try and interrupt them as much as possible. Get Gambit. They countered that brilliantly, and again, it was Darien that started off. He was the tank, the force that went through the midline, started off the fight, went straight in up against them 5v1. They hooked in Diamond. He flashed out of it instantaneously and turned that fight around, and then Alex coming in with them home guard boots at the start. A great chain of corruption as well from Genja there. Can't underestimate that one. It seemed to land and find its home. And Forellenlord, he only locked at one person in that fight. Really needed to be looking at gathering everyone up there. Just managed to lock up just Darien. And that's not really the target you're looking for, despite the fact he is a juicy target. You would get that big shutdown bonus, but you need to be looking at going towards Diamond, Alex, or Genja in that fight. It's nice squishy targets, or Voidle, who landed a fantastic ultimate in that fight. Yeah, and that was the problem for Forellenlord. He hit Darien with the W to stop him chasing through. Didn't actually use his ultimate in that fight, which... you have to wonder. I mean, it's a free Zhonya's, if nothing else, before he went down. And I think that's why he was quite surprised at how quickly he ended up getting bursted in that fight. Not able to get his ulti off in time to really have any say on that. But as I was saying, you know, Gambit are going to slowly but surely claw back. As it happened, wasn't quite so slowly, but definitely surely. 35.4 to now 34.4. So they find themselves with a 1,000 gold lead and the Baron buff on, which means these next coming moments are going to be hard for Alternate to stay in.
And looking at Diamond, he's no longer a straight jungler. He's become a second AP champion, a terror from the jungle as well. No longer, obviously not going to have the support. They're not going to have a runic bulwark, it seems, at the moment. Gambit, not really anyone building towards that one, so they're happy to go without that, but they have a lot of damage to be dealt out. Alex is going to come up this top lane. You can see him speeding in there with his home guard boots, while the rest of Gambit, they start to stack down that mid lane and see if they can try and catch someone out once again.
Well, let's see. Alex is going to push out that top, and well, if that keeps pushing through, we could see them going. Actually, Araneae, knowing that Alex is in that top side, is actually going to go through. They're going to go for Voidle. There's Kerp coming through with the unstoppable force. Another great crescendo. They're going to try and turn this around once again. Darien right in the middle of the pack as they snipe Araneae. Can't quite get the finishing blows as Darien taking a ton of damage, but again, it's just not enough. That was everything that WhiteKnight could throw at him. The collateral damage and everything. There is the tankiest man of the team, Kerp, who's been chased down, flashed away. Alex goes in, and he's just one more hit onto him. There we go with an ult sphere to finish things off. And now they back away. They're happy with that 1-for-0. And they can even stick around here and go for those turrets. But again, Darien in the middle of the pack, so dangerous that Alternate had to turn and run. And he was a 4v5 when that started.
Crazy play to me, that one. Alternate, they went aggressive, and they went aggressive against a team that just picked up Baron. Why would you do that in open battle? You need to just sit back, and it kind of backfired on them. They're going to lose the turret, which they may well have done anyway, but that was dangerous, dangerous play. And again, we see Darien zipping straight in there, taking all the damage, bursting it through, and every time he does that, he buys time for Diamond and Genja, and Alex is to just be sniping away at range.
Yeah, it's so very tanky right now with that Spirit Visage in there, with that Sunfire Cape, got a second Giant's Belt as well. So he's done a fantastic job so far this game. Way ahead in CS of Kerp, way ahead in kills at 5-1-3. There's another Dragon coming down for Gambit as well, and they're currently sat on a 3,000 gold. I say another Dragon for Gambit. That actually was their first one of the game, the first one that they managed to actually have any control of course, as Alternate have done a good job of doing that. But you can see when it comes to these fights that Gambit most clearly have an edge on them.
Yeah, and they've turned the game around really on its head, because they were, what, 4,000 behind at one point. Now they're a good 3,000 ahead. They've managed to swing it completely in their favor. And in terms of items and champions, it seems to be swinging their way. Gambit have done a fantastic job. And I talked about Runic Bulwark not having it. Diamond's like, no, I'll get that now. I'm going to just buy an A. Is pretty much outright after that battle. Of course, he picked up a bunch of kills. So 3-1-6 so far on Karma from the jungle. All the doubters he had yesterday, everybody is saying, has Diamond lost the plot? Well, why the hell would we ever question this guy? Because so many times he innovates and brings things out. This team has brought out so many new things to League of Legends throughout the last 2 years. It never surprises me when we see something new, and I really will never ever question it, unless it's Genja using Tear of the Goddess on Varus.
Which, by the way, he's not doing here today. So someone's had a stiff word with him and said, look, Genja, I hate to break it to you, but it probably wasn't the most viable item before the tier was changed, but certainly now it's not going to be. So, well, he shied away from this one, going more of a standard build, which is something we're not used to really saying when it comes to Genja, but he is fulfilling that support AD carry that he does a lot at 0-1-8 right now, not being in picking up the kills, but has been instrumental in getting those 10 kills that they have right now. As we see Alex here from the side, Gambit going to go for this one. There's the ulti being used on Alex, but because he'd rift walk, he got the stun but was outside of the damage. Crazy stuff there, which, Forellenlord basically wasting that ultimate for that one.
Lightning reactions, flash straight afterwards as well, and this is Gambit without Baron. They don't care. They're still going to siege down this turret. Baron has run off, and ordinarily you'd see the teams just back away, but we've talked about the aggression that Gambit do show from time to time. Double slice and dice coming out from Darien, really trying to get straight through in towards them, and they have got themselves another inner turret. 5-3 in inner turrets right now. Two of them going down. The mid one as well went down a moment ago, and Gambit are not done yet. They're still going.
They're still going, and Alternate have to stop this at some point. They have to put up some kind of fight, otherwise they're going to get put so far behind that they can't actually react to this one. The problem that they have, of course, is that team fights, when they've gone in these 5 versus 5s, or even 5 versus 4 as that one in the middle was, they've come out on the sour end of that deal. So they need to be really careful about what fights they're picking from this one. We can see the blue buff has respawned there. Gambit, they look like they're going to be backing them. I'm imagining that they've sat on quite the stack of gold right now.
Yeah, and that Baron is up in a minute's time, so they're going to be well aware of that timing. Let's see what they go back to buy there. So there's going to be a chunk of items coming out, all for Gambit, all popping into view in a moment. Void Staff being picked up by Alex. A Warmog's being picked up by Darien as well. So some big items. There's the Runic Bulwark being completed as well by Diamondprox. And we're just waiting for Genja. I guess he'd be the last one to go back. Bam! Infinity Edge from a pickaxe. Sure.
Yeah. As I said, a lot of gold for Gambit before they went back from that one. And, well, you don't have to be a genius to realize how much of a change that's going to make to these next fights coming in from that one. That Void Staff out of Alex, it's going to be absolutely deadly for them. Baron up in 15 seconds, and honestly, Alternate got no ward coverage of the immediate area there at Baron. They put the wards that they had around that blue buff to make sure that they could actually get in there for the first time in quite a while. But they've got no vision of the Baron, and Gambit may just be able to take this one.
Yeah, they're in a much stronger position. You know, they were happy to just bully them on the tower a moment ago, and the fact that they've just gone back and got such a big power-up, there's no way they're going to be fearing or shying away from this fight, but they are going to get Darien hooked in. Is that really the one they want, though? Because the rest of the team follow through. There's Alex's Riv walking away. Darien happy to just pop his ultimate and take a face tank effectively all the damage. We're going to have to see Kerp. He's going to have to back off here or teleport in because the rest of his team are getting chased down. Genja wasn't really with the fight, though, so Gambit couldn't follow through on that one, but it does force Alternate back away again.
Araneae actually going straight through. He's going to walk over the top of the ward, but he's like, guys, we need to at least check what's going on over there. In the end, he's got no wards to put down anyway as Darien comes in from the side. Araneae saying, nope, don't want any part of that one. And Gambit once again turn around towards Baron. We see the Voidle there having a check through. And now that the Oracle range has been changed, by the way, you have to go a little bit deeper into that Baron pit to actually check if there's anything being put down at the back, which is what he was just doing. We saw Alex go down to the bottom lane to clear things out. And Gambit, Alternate here are moving in towards Baron. Kerp still has that teleport up.
Yeah, Alex, within a millisecond of catching Kerp, he was trying to teleport back in the bush. And a sort of force pulse in there on the mini-map, but he just didn't quite catch him. I think the damage went through, but not just in time. Alex is Riff walking away from the hook there, but now we see Darien once again, that big brick of a tank going through at the front, taking all the damage. He has took half the health off, though. Now we see Alex catching on towards WhiteKnight. Everybody pops through. Unstoppable Force was used, but honestly not to a great effect. Chain of Corruption fantastically fired and layered on with a crescendo. Absolute immaculate team fight there from Gambit, and they walk away with a 3-for-0. And it's almost certainly going to be another Baron.
Before this game, I said I'm not sure how Genja and Voidle are really working together. That right there was perfect from both of them. Chain of Corruption came in there in the right position. The crescendo hit 3 men as it came through. Darien does not care about anything right now as we just see him go in there. Even managed to get away from the hook. And this is going to be the second Baron of the game coming in for Gambit. Nothing that Alternate can do about that one.
Yeah, and looking at Gambit, they're all laughing and joking. Big smiles on Voidle's face and Alex Itch there. They're very happy with how that all worked out. What got me was Genja fired that Chain of Corruption through the bush, through the trees, and completely from the other side. It caught perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but when it does, it looks fantastic. And Alternate now feeling strong. Look at this, though. We're going to see Voidle coming around the corner with a bit of a surprise. Seeing the Dragon in there. He's actually going to put pressure on Araneae. He's not too worried, considering he's on his own, miles away. He's just putting the pings down, and he's actually fighting on towards Araneae. Araneae is tanking this one up. He does manage to get it down. That keeps the pressure on towards him, though.
Really nice harassment there from Voidle, as much harassment as you can really do at this stage of the game to the vibe. But no, Araneae knew he had to be right with the smite there, because you never quite know. Q coming out of Voidle in that scenario after he's failed the smite could have actually been the steal. So props to Araneae where he's
deserved. And you wouldn't live that one down either.
You would never live that one down. That would be all over Reddit. Multiple times that video being posted. So Gambit right now, Baron buff on, charging down that mid lane. Gonna be hard for Alternate to hold on.
Yeah, they have a minion wave coming in the moment. We do see Alternate. They have a lot of wave clear potential. A bookshot for Forellenlord as well. Oh, Forellenlord took one burst there from Diamond, and it chunked a third of his health off. Diamond doing a hell of a lot of damage already. Piercing arrow landing through as well, but they have good wave clear Alternate, and that's what's keeping them off the inhibitor turrets just now for the at least the time being. But I'm not too sure Gambit, after seeing their shenanigans already when they've just piled straight onto turrets without the Baron, I don't think they're going to be kept at bay too long. No,
I don't think so either. And Darien, he, as I said earlier, he just doesn't care about going in there. He gets a speed boost, dives straight in right on top of them, and they're going to keep going through from this one. There's the unstoppable force actually hitting 3 members. Darien actually finally going low from this as Aleñar takes a lot of damage. 4-man crescendo comes out from Voidle, but where's the damage to follow up? There is a chain of corruption coming through. Forellenlord going down, sniped off by Genja in the end. They're not done just yet here, Gambit. They've got no minions actually coming in on towards that turret. Genja going to be the one to tank it up, but it's only going to get 2 or 3 hits off onto him before that's taken down. And the first inhibitor of the game is going to fall here for Gambit.
And again, just brilliant crescendo, brilliant chain of corruption, everything landing as it should. And all that being harassed and backed up. And you see the snipes, everything comes out on top. Gambit really are firing on all cylinders today. So many times we see different teams from day to day from Gambit. One day they're absolutely impeccable, perfectly playing. The next day, you don't know, you just think, what's just happened overnight? But it seems today that it is the strong Gambit. And remember, they're 2-0 up over Alternate already. They could be taking it to 3 and joining themselves back on towards that top of the table against Fnatic and Lemon Dogs.
And look down the scoreboard here once again, 5-1-6 for Darien. Again, getting completely involved in that fight, getting straight in there to the point where he's like, guys, I think we're going to have to start doing some damage here because I'm kind of dying from this one, as they try to really lock him up in the mix of that. But just such great positional play out of Gambit. And let's not forget that this game started with Alternate having a 3,500 gold lead, which has been completely turned on its head. Alternate actually pushing out from this one, and Darien's like, I got my ulti back, I'm going in for this one. Where's the rest of my team? A little bit far back, but I'm going to chase Alternate off.
Yeah, they thought they'd caught Gambit all backing off there. Teleport even came out from Kerp into the mid lane. They thought, we're going to have to rush, get something here. Alternate desperately trying to push out from that base up against the super minions, but Darien had other ideas. He hadn't completely backed off. He was still sticking around, still farming up. They did manage to get a blue buff for Forellenlord there, I believe, which will keep the cooldown going, but look at this. It's just Darien's going to tank it up. He's not really too worried about the damage that this turret's going to do to him, and still with that Baron buff just almost running out. There we go. It's just finally timed out. They've managed to take a great deal with it.
It's looking right now like Gambit are going to keep this winning run against Alternate alive. Of course, 2-0 coming into this game. We'll see if that actually changes out as the hook landed onto Alex there again, showing his reactions to actually riff walk at the exact time that hook landed onto him, gets himself out of any danger, and he's shown that today twice now. The ultimate from Forellenlord earlier obviously was the real big one that he riff walked away from to get the stun but avoid all of the damage coming out. And Gambit, they're just biding their time here, at least all except Darien, who's biding no time. He's going straight in there for this one, actually going to go in towards Araneae. Now he goes over towards Jree. There's a crescendo. Didn't really hit anyone this time around. Unstoppable force coming in. Chain of corruption already being used off there, as we will see Forellenlord getting the kill on towards Aleñar, but the damage is just too high here coming out of Gambit. Who are they going to turn on to next? Look at the Nexus turret, by the way. The super minions have been hammering away on that one. They managed to finish off the first one. They got super minions coming in again as Araneae ultis himself in on towards Genja. They're not too worried about that. They return damage onto Forellenlord as snipes come through. Inhibitor is down. I think that might be all she wrote for this push for Gambit.
Yeah, they're going to back away, it seems. They do have super minions in the middle there. Voidle get caught out. Didn't avoidle that one, did he, Joe? But he does manage to not go down, so he manages to escape. They're going to see the Claw of Doom on towards Darien. Will he finally get killed? Yes! 500 gold goes to Kerp. The shutdown bonus eventually comes in, but he is 6-2-6. And, well, they don't really care, because super minions take down the second Nexus turret, and Alternate are simply on cleanup duty, while Gambit go back and spend their gold.
Yeah, and spend pretty much their millions. 4,000 gold almost here for Genja. And he went back and bought an Infinity Edge right out last time. This time, not quite going the same route. Obviously, did pick up that last Whisper in there with a Negatron cloak. We've got the Locket in there. We can see that almost the Athene's Unholy Grail is done for Voidle in this one. sometimes those hooks, as you said, 2 games in a row, almost right at the end, those hooks have been a little bit unavoidable.
Absolutely. Genja, though, he's got himself that Fortitude pot now as well. That's what he picked up, another item. And, well, Gambit are strong right now. Dragon's up in 11 seconds, but I don't think they care about that one. The fact that all three inhibitors are down does mean the double super minis will be piling down all of those lanes. You can see the big, long lines tanking their way through. Gambit, they are coming along with that mid lane. Look at that. More of the Malmortius now being picked up by Darien as well. He's got damage on top of resistance. Araneae caught out of position. Aleñar is going to come in. Riftwalk and Null Sphere does take half his hit points down there. That's a lot of damage considering he's one of the main tanks for them.
Yeah, that's worrying as well. I mean, we got 2 Lockets in here now as well, alternate, just trying to outlast the damage that Gambit can do to them as they start to move in once again. There's the ult one towards Aleñar. He's just going to Zhonya's away from all that damage. Forellenlord goes down. This could well be it. Aleñar taking a lot of damage, but they've not got enough to finish off. Araneae will fall afterwards. Kerp going to be the next focus as we see the snipe coming straight through. Nexus are going to be focused down, and that is Gambit taking down alternate here. Fantastic comeback from them. Let's not forget, Demon, 3,500 gold they were behind.
Yeah, that's fantastic performance. That takes Gambit now to, what, 11 and 9. They're going to be joined on with Alternate once again. And, you know, despite the fact Alternate knew exactly what was coming against them, they couldn't do a great deal to stop it. And you got to hand it to Diamond. He's pulled another champion out the bag of tricks, and it seems to have paid off. Karma in that top lane. And really, all credit to Darien. He had a fantastic match in that game on Renekton. It was a champion that he played a lot of during the Spring Split and at Season 2, and it seems to have just fell back onto it, and it's worked wonders for them. Fantastic performance. Alex, he spent a long time having to just farm and catch up, but as soon as he did manage to finally get in there, sure enough, they all turned it on. And big credit to Voidle. He landed some absolute impeccable crescendos in there. Yeah,
there were some really good ones. I mean, the 4-man that we saw, there was that one that he combined with Genja. I think it was 3 men with the Chain of Corruption coming in while they were fighting on the jungle just outside of Alternate's base. Like, he really stepped this one up today. That's the thing about Sona. If you can hit your crescendos when it gets to team fights, you've pretty much done your job right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just amazing stuff. And so many times we've seen different players in the past talking about using crescendo for just 1 player or 2 players, but he managed to hit 3, 4 quite regularly. And whether that's a credit to him or a discredit to Alternate not stacking up in the right way. They weren't really avoiding the damage. But I guess Kerp landed a good number of unstoppable forces. Forellenlord on the Sandra didn't quite work out as much as he planned. And every time he kind of, I'm going to get him, no one, they've just managed to walk away Aleñar, or somebody manages to flash away, slice and dice is out of there. And everything was kind of being thrown at Darien, and he was happy to be that front man, that front tank, to take it all, and the rest of Gambit just collapsed in around them.
Well, we saw what happened in that last fight. I mean, he gets ulted by Forellenlord. Yeah. Forellenlord's putting as much damage down as he can. He hits the Zhonya's at the exact second when Kerp's coming in for the unstoppable force. So, you know, that's their biggest 2 ultimates really just gone without really any major impact. Yeah, you've got Cassidy down to half HP, but as soon as that Zhonya's off, he's rift walking straight away to come back into the fight afterwards. Meanwhile, you've just got Genja, who, again, you know, he's a very quiet AD carry, in my opinion. Like,
it always is, passive man.
If you don't really hear his name that much when it comes to team fights, but he's always there. He's always at the back. He's always putting the damage down. And we saw it by the end there. He was really racking it up. Well, and going back and spending 3,000 to 4,000 gold the last 2 times he went home.
And that's an important thing, because he was with the team.
Yeah.
We don't often see that with Genja. He's always off in lanes, farming on his own. He was always with the team there. Darien was going in, and he was always hovering around behind with Diamond, with Voidle, and they were as a 4-man unit while Alex was off, instead of Genja just being down in the bottom lane, down in the top lane. The rest of the team are fighting. He's not in the fight. He's at 0-0, 30 minutes in. This time around, he was always there. He had he didn't manage massive amounts of kills, but he had massive amounts of assists. He was always involved in those fights, and consequently, like you say, he could go back. He had like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 gold to go back to.
Yeah, and I'm glad we talked about Darien as well before the game, because this really fit in perfectly timed, because this game, he was at his best with that Renekton, and wouldn't surprise me to see that Renekton coming out a little bit more in the future, heading the farm pretty much the entire game, always starting off the fights, always being that big, scary, tanky crocodile that Renekton is right in the middle of it, and a massive contribution today for the Gambit win.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic stuff. So, we have an expert standing by alongside Jason Kaplan. His name is Krepo, so let's see what they're going to say about this match.
Thank you for that, Joe and Demon. And fantastic, I think, might be a little bit of an understatement in that game. We saw some crazy new picks coming out. Why don't you walk us through those new champions we saw?
Well, really different compositions by both teams. Really weird to see two unused junglers by both teams. I think Diamond did really well with Karma. It fit their high mobility playstyle. Had enough sustain and shields. Combined with the Sona heals, the shields and mobility allowed Kassadin and Renekton to just be really influential in all the fights. And then at the other side, you had Araneae trying to introduce another viable jungler. It worked out really well for them in the early game, but in the late game, Gambit took the upper hand.
Okay, and speaking of early game, let's walk through that, because you wanted to talk about specifically who was where and why in terms of lanes. But before we get to that, sorry, I actually got ahead of myself. Let's talk about the level 1 action we saw out of Alternate.
Yeah, definitely Alternate came prepared. We know Gambit usually doesn't invade at all when they're playing the early game. Usually when you put a ward in Gambit's jungle, they will instantly pink ward it, so that ward will become useless. What Alternate did was really well. They hid in one brush, waited on 149, moved forward, placed a pink ward, and then they knew whether they were spotted or not, hooked the blue buff over, and instantly started, well, they predicted Karma at blue. In the end, Karma had to move all the way to the other side of the map, reacted really well, though Gambit in the entire game was always reacting really well to Alternate's plays, but yet it was always Alternate making the plays. Araneae then followed into his red, still had the pink ward up at the right side of mid, so he knew his gank path was totally free to take, went mid, got first blood on Alex, and started off the game really well.
And the weird thing was, it didn't even seem like that mattered in the end, because we looked at the CS at the end of the game. He had over 100 CS leads still, even though he was ganked early on, even though he had the first blood over Lissandra. I mean, it was really hard for him to get back in the game, but how did he kind of go about doing that?
Typical Alex. You don't see him the entire game, but then you look at his CS, and he's suddenly 45 up, 50 up, 60 up, keeps farming, and Kassadin scales so well, especially against their comp. If he just survives the fight long enough to get his rotation off 1 or 2 times, and then he just wins those fights.
Okay, well, we do have a replay for you, and it's about 23 minutes in, and we want to kind of get that on your screen and then walk through something, particularly as we saw here, because it was really important on how it kind of developed. And we want to start up by talking about the team compositions for both these teams and how they kind of worked in these team fights.
If we're gonna talk about the lineups, Alternate's lineup is all about picking guys off that are clustered. They have the Graves AoE damage, Forellenlord's AoE damage, Vi picks that one guy off, Malphite ultis 1 or 2 guys, but then you have, on the other side, Gambit's lineup. They spread out and they pick up whoever they want here and there. They chase them down, they have the mobility coming from Sona E, they have Karma speeding up, shielding them as well. And it's basically, Alternate sets up for a push on top lane, but that's when Darien says, oh guys, like I'm tired of this, I'm going in.
All right, well, let's start that replay up and just kind of walk you through exactly what happps here. And you can just walk us through step by step exactly how this goes in favor of Gambit.
Darien just starts fighting them, he starts chasing them, and teams realize, okay, Darien is doing something, let's chase him. He keeps going, they keep chasing them down until a point where the fight actually splits open, and it's like 2 or more seconds from now. Actually, Diamond does get hooked, and he flashes out, and this is where the fight breaks open. You have Darien holding up 4 people busy of Alternate lineup. Araneae has a good call as well, he tries to turn the fight around, but then Darien is up against 4 people, and he will chunk Lissandra to like 60%, while Araneae is trying to turn. Araneae turns on Diamond then, the fight is still split up, and then if you move it a little forward, you see Kerp trying to get back into the fight as well. And this is what's going to happen every fight later on. They catch one guy, and then Voidle replies with the crescendo.
I just wanted to speed up.
It's really hard to speed up. But this is what happens. Like, they catch one guy, and Voidle says, no, you're not hitting that guy. He always crescendos 1 or 2 people. Later in the game, it would always be Kassadin going in. He gets Malphite ulti, gets Vi ulti, but then the crescendo comes in. They nullify the fight, and like the fight split open at the start. Collapsed again, but now Alternate is just doomed. They tried to burst one guy, didn't succeed, and this is where Gambit starts hunting them with Renekton, with Karma, with Alex and Kassadin, and it was just, at this point, the game was turned.
Yeah, it was. I have to say, it was a really weird team fight, but like you were saying before, in terms of how they kind of go into each other, you actually talked to me about this late game, is that Gambit, they're a team fight kind of composition a little bit, well, in terms of they want to pick you off 1 by 1, but they need to group up to make these fights happen, but Alternate has a good team to kind of break that up. And can you explain what you were saying to me exactly about it?
It's a little weird because basically Alternate has to be all the time together as 5, because if they don't, Alex will just jump on the guy that's alone and chunk him. And then on the other hand, Gambit can't group up as 5 because if they do, then they have the chance of being Malphite ultied by more people. Vi can engage on you, Lissandra AoE can come on all of you. So both teams actually have to do the opposite. Like one has to stay together, the other one has to spread. And I think Gambit just played it better. They spread out, chunked whoever was alone, and then the crescendos will be vital, but especially Darien. Like he decided, like, we're fighting. Sometimes he didn't even care where his team was. His team was 2 screens away. No, he's like, pop my ulti, turn around, I'll see who comes. And it scared alternate. You could even see when they had 5 against 3, they got scared. But suddenly Renekton turning around with ulti, they were like, "What the hell is going on?" Like they're just setting up a trap. And yeah, definitely MVP Darien.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird because usually we see him overextending, but it actually worked out in his favor this time, and it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, definitely really confident, and also props to the new support Voidle. Like really good crescendos every time. Waited for Alex to get caught, so to say, or for Alex to get focused by the enemy team, and he shut that down. He gave him a 2-second window, which allowed him to jump out again, and then the sustain came in, and they won the fights like that every time.
All right, Kerp, well, thank you very much for joining us and giving us your thoughts on this game. Good luck in your game a little bit later on today, but for now...
You'll need it.
You'll need it. But for now, we do have an interview with Shox, who's with Diamondprox.
Thank you very much, Jason. Diamondprox, congratulations on that nice victory against Team Alternate 3 times already in the split. You played Karma, of course I have to ask. Why did you choose for her again today, and what did she bring to your team comp?
I chose Karma because I think it's like one of the best support junglers. You really feel that you are doing a game, a part of the game when you're playing her, not like Jarvan only Q, E, and R, and then you're just after attacking. You're like always helping your team. You got a lot of CC, a lot of utility. You are good at pushing, counter-pushing, at ganks. Like we killed 2 versus 2 with Darien twice, I think. That's why.
So why do you think it didn't work yesterday versus Fnatic? Is it because it never really got going, the Karma jungle, that you never really had a chance to come into the game?
Actually, I think we lost yesterday because of a lot of mistakes, like really hard mistakes. I fed First Blood, then we fed double buff to Shen, then just everything went wrong. And even with 11,000 gold disadvantage, we killed them because of our team composition, but then we made mistakes again, and then we lost. That's not because of Karma, I think.
All right, so we see you guys here now playing flawlessly, great team fights, and then yesterday, just nothing of that. So how come that you kind of turn up the one day with a great team, and then the other day, not at all?
We just discussed a lot after the games, like 4 hours. Then we came back here, practice a lot, point out our mistakes, and like now we're playing really better.
Okay, and finally, how do you think Voidle did here in his weekend? First time playing in front of that LCS crowd and your team.
He's playing really well. I really love his way of playing, his play style, how he's doing a support. He's waiting for crescendo on like carries, like AP mids or their AD carries. He's really a great player, and I think he has a big potential.
All right, thank you very much, Diamond, and congratulations.
Thank you,
Now, yesterday, Fnatic proved they're not afraid to pull out some crazy